Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Josh, and thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. You can give us a call tonight, 412-575-2600 is the number. On the other side is Andrew Fillipponi from the 93.7 The Fan Cam. We were expecting big things today, Pony. I wanted to see the backs on backers drill. I wanted to see the guys in the pads up in Latrobe. That didn't happen because of weather again. That's 3 practices now that have been interrupted by storms up there. Fields are pretty much saturated because all the heavy rainfall that we're getting. So hopefully they can get it in tomorrow. I know I'm going to be up there all day. Pat McAfee's show is going to be up there, and I'll be paying attention to the guys with the pads on for the first time.
Well, I would expect, because you guys are basically from the same neighborhood, that you would be a big guest on the McAfee show. If not, then I blame Mark Cabali because he's going to suck up all the oxygen there. And obviously Aaron Rodgers will do an interview tomorrow for Pat McAfee, so we'll see what he says in that situation. You're right. It's like Christmas Day got pushed back. You went downstairs to unwrap your presents. There was nothing there. Mom and Dad maybe got a little drunk on eggnog, so they had to move it back to the 26th of December. So that's going to be tomorrow. And, you know, I'd say all eyes are on Broderick Jones. Broderick Jones right now, what are you doing? You lost too much weight. You got dinged up on Sunday. You had Mike Tomlin say that you're going to be healthy tomorrow. It's put up or shut up time, Broderick Jones. You want to be this team's left tackle of the future. You want to get a second contract with the team. You've got to prove it. And it starts tomorrow with the first real practice of Steelers training camp. I'm very disappointed in Broderick Jones, and he doesn't want to be the latest in a string of bad first-round picks, Richie. Devin Bush, Kenny Pickett, Najee Harris. So many of these guys have been one and done, no second contracts. The last guy to get a second contract was TJ Watt. And I think right now it looks like Jones will not get one, and he's got to prove those people wrong starting tomorrow at practice.
Yeah, we still have all of training camp. The preseason games haven't even started yet, but what would you say a drop-dead date would be for someone like Broderick Jones if he can't get it together? I mean, I understand that they're going through just basically OTAs right now. Today was supposed to be the big day that we were going to pay attention to what's going on up front. This is when the offensive line and the defensive line shine.
Yeah, I'd say the drop-dead date is maybe around Columbus Day or Halloween, because there's no competition. There's 0 people pushing him. It's his job. You're a first-round pick. You're in year 3. You've got to produce. And so even if he stinks in training camp, and we'll see if he plays in the preseason, he's going to get that starting job week 1 in New York against the Jets. It's a matter of what he does with it and what he makes of it. Can he get that, parlay that into another contract? Look at all the money Dan Moore got from the Tennessee Titans. So that is the carrot that is being dangled in front of Broderick Jones right now. But, Richie, you've been up there. The reviews have been terrible so far, and many people are concerned that he's not taking advantage of the opportunity that he's been given.
He lost weight, which I found weird. You know, you should be gaining weight, right? But he said he wanted to lose weight to put on weight. The one thing I would have to say is that left side of the line is so important for Aaron Rodgers, correct? I mean, that's his blind side.
Yep.
And that's how the season's going to go, depending on that left side of the line for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's not going to be able to survive back there trying to get that ball out quickly all the time.
And you're not off to a good start because the other left side guy is hurt. Isaac Seumalo, 2 years in a row. He's had an injury at the start of the season in training camp. And he's a very solid player. He was really good in Philadelphia, won a Super Bowl there. But now he's banged up again. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is only going to go as far as this offensive line because he can't buy himself more time anymore. And he's smart enough to get the ball out and not get sacked on every play. But that limits what you can do in an offense if he's got to get the snap and then immediately throw the ball. So this team will go as far as Broderick Jones and the offensive tackles can take them. And people love what they've seen from Fautanu in practices. Not so much about Broderick Jones. And Richie, maybe he lost too much weight.
Yeah.
Maybe he got a little bit too aggressive with the weight loss, because people say he doesn't look like a left tackle in terms of stature right now at Steelers practice.
But that also limits how effective DK Metcalf is, because he's not a guy you want to get the ball out quickly to. He's a guy that you want to get the ball down the field to.
And that's true of Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin's a down-the-field guy. He's not a quick throw. I mean, the guys that would benefit from the quick strike offense are the tight ends and running backs. And they brought in another tight end, Jonnu Smith. Pat Freiermuth, I thought, had a pretty good year last year. Jalen Warren, we know he can catch the ball out of the backfield, but you want to make the defense, you want to keep them honest and make them feel like they've got to respect the play downfield. And if your offensive line can't hold up, that's going to get those safeties down near the line of scrimmage. And now all of a sudden, instead of trying to beat 9 guys on a given play, you got to beat 11 guys down near the line of scrimmage.
All right, we're taking your phone calls tonight. 412-575-2600 is the number. You can tweet me at Richie Walsh, tweet Pony at Pony Express. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Andrew McCutchen making history. Look at that Pony. He's in some elite company. 10 homers in the first 17 seasons. Barry Bonds is a couple years away, 19. Hank Aaron leads it at 23. You know, if he sticks around for next year, he would tie Mickey Mantle with 18. I think it's a pretty good feat. A lot of those guys on there are Hall of Famers. Is Andrew McCutchen a Hall of Famer, Pony?
He's not, but there's guys in the Hall of Fame that have resumes that are really not that much better than Andrew McCutchen. So he's very close. And maybe something can happen in the next few years in terms of compiling numbers, or he can have another renaissance year that puts him over the top. It has been a lot of consistency, and he is, since Barry Bonds, the best Pirates player. And their best hope or best chance to have another guy wear the Pirate P on their cap in Cooperstown one day, now that Dave Parker has been inducted there. But yeah, I think he's close. But if I had to choose right now, in or out, I would go out, but not by a lot, Richie. He's inching closer to Cooperstown. All
right, a big day on Thursday. It's a trade deadline in Major League Baseball, and I think the Pirates potentially have to make a couple moves here. Whether they'll let Ben Cherington make moves is the big question. But, you know, I think value right now, you could get something for David Bednar, and if the past tells you anything, maybe now's the time to trade him. I mean, he's arguably the best closer in the game right now. Gave up his first earned run since June 4th, and I think his ERA in June and July combined is like .47. So do you try to deal Bednar and get a bat, maybe that next bat, for him?
I do not, because I don't trust Ben Cherington. And I think it makes all the sense in the world to consider these things. David Bednar is going to make around $9 million next year in arbitration. And they have other relief pitchers like an Ashcraft or a Majinski or even a Santana who can fill those shoes and be a guy who gets you the last 3 outs in a game. But they have an incompetent general manager. So I don't trust him to parlay or turn David Bednar into guys that are going to make them better at more positions of need, like left field or shortstop or catcher. First base even though Horwitz is there. Third base, even though Key Brian Hayes is there. So, no, I would not trade him, because I think Ben Cherington would get ripped off in a trade. And I say the same thing about Keller. I do not think the Pirates will get maximum return back, because I don't think their GM knows how to do that, Richie.
All right, we just got a tweet here from Gene, who said, what support does GM Ben Cherington get from owner? ? If it were any at all, he'd be spending it on real batter bats to complement the pitching, not trying to flip one of his best pitchers for prospects. I mean, it sounded like this guy's defending Ben a little bit and calling out the ownership, which, you know, I'm going to call out the ownership too, but Ben Cherington has a losing record all the way around. I mean, he had one good year, right?
Yep. He did. He had that World Series year in Boston, which obviously counts for a lot because he won the championship.
Yeah.
But he has not done anything in 5+ going on 6 years here. And he's made so many bad trades. He's made only a handful of good trades, if that. He should not be the guy in charge of the Pirates right now. And it's a shame that he is. And because of that, you've got to limit the damage. And you can't let him set back this organization any more than he already has. So, yeah, I would not let him trade Bednar. I would not let him trade Keller. I would have somebody take over the job in September, and then I would let that person make the decision on both of those guys this offseason.
All right, let's go out to our number one Cochran call of the night, and that's Tom out in Indiana. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for calling.
Good. Hey, thanks for taking my call. Hey, in all due respect, I really disagree with Pony. I think we need some hitters on the Pirates. I think getting rid of Keller and getting rid of Bednar, we hate to see him go, but, boy, those bats would be fantastic. It would help the team. It would help the wins. I think, I don't know if it's going to save the season, but I really think that's the way it needs to go. And Ben Cherington, he can't keep making mistakes. One of these days he's going to make a good decision. And I think the odds are that they deal those pitchers and get some hitters.
Pony, hey, Tom, can I ask you a question?
Well, he hung up.
Is he still there?
No, he isn't. But, you weren't saying, you were an advocate of maybe trading these guys. You just don't think Ben Cherington is the right guy, correct?
Well, I just, this whole idea, well, he's due for a good trade. So what's that mean? The Browns are due for a good season? I mean, because you've had multiple bad performances in a row, Richie, you were a track star. I'm not a great long-distance runner. I'm not good at running, a 10K. Does that mean tomorrow I'm due to run a good one because I've run a bunch of bad ones in a row? No, exactly. So that's why I would not say, oh, well, I disagree with Pony. He's due for a good trade. No, he's not. Some people are good at their jobs like you, and some people are not. And he's not. I mean, there are some things Ben Cherington does decently as a GM. He finds pitching. He usually makes a trade like the Bailey Falter trade or a free agent signing like he did with Jose Quintana a couple of years ago, where you say, hey, that was actually a shrewd move, a good move, given the Pirates' budgetary constraints. But to come on here and say, well, I think you should trade Bednar and Keller because they need bats and he's made a lot of bad trades, that means it's time for a good trade. That makes absolutely no sense to me.
What's his best trade as a Pirate? Do you think it's the Falter? I mean, I thought Nick York potentially, but that obviously isn't working out right now either.
Well, that was a horrible trade because even though Quinn Priester didn't work out in Boston, he went to Milwaukee and now he's been a very good pitcher. And York isn't even here.
Yeah.
On the lowest scoring team in the major leagues, he's still at AAA. So I would say Castro for Falter was a win. I think Strickland for Bart looked good, but Bart's done nothing this year. Bart's been a total zero, a dud at catcher. So he's had some minor victories as a GM, but his only big win was when he took Castro, who had a cell phone fall out of his pocket, and turned him into Bailey Falter, who's not a bad left-handed starting pitcher.
Let's go out to Jim and Peters. How you doing, Jim?
I don't see the Steelers doing anything because they haven't addressed the offensive line you were talking about. If they put a priority to it, they would be better. But the thing about it is they're not going to be able to throw the ball long and run the ball with a bad line. They're going nowhere.
I don't necessarily think this is a bad line, Pony. It's just we haven't seen it yet. And I think everyone's thinking the worst. But, I mean, a lot of these guys have been on the team for now over a year, have worked together. Troy Fautano is healthy. I mean, I don't want to count them out
Richie,
just yet.
I'm not counting them out, but they've got 5 positions, and they've only got one guy who looks like a sure thing, and that's Frazier. Broderick Jones is a question mark. Sayamalu wouldn't be a question mark, but he's injured, so that makes him one. Mason McCormick's only started a few games, and he was a 4th-round pick. And Fautanu missed all of last year, even though he was a 1st-round pick, and I do have high hopes for him. But in terms of guys who you could say, yeah, I know for sure what they're going to give us this year and how they're going to do. Frazier's the only guy on that offensive line who I can say that about.
And they're a little undersized.
The only one right now.
Yeah. All right, back out to the phone lines. We're going to go out to Arn in Brookline. How you doing, Arn?
I'm doing well tonight. I'd like to go back to the Pirates situation, and what you've been mentioning, from what I understand, is trading pitching to get some hitters. In my opinion, why don't we just keep the pitchers we have and the players, get rid of the players who aren't hitting, and see if we can get some free agent hitters? But we don't.
Arn, the problem is, I hate to cut you off here, we're going to get the break. The problem is I don't think free agents want to come here. You'd have to overspend, and that's not the Pirates' MO, Pony, right? I mean, you're not attracting big-name free agents. That's the problem. And if you're going to cut all the bad hitters, you're basically cutting the entire team.
You've got to show a willingness to pay those guys. And they really haven't done anything besides find guys on one-year deals, Michael A. Taylor, Rowdy Tellez, Tommy Pham. So I'm with you. Like, the idea of keep pitching and just sign hitting to help the pitching, we got to see the Pirates actually do that before we believe it.
All right, we got to take a break. Coming back in a couple minutes. All right, now it's time to turn things over to Ken Rice to find out what's coming up on KDKA News at 11. Ken?
Rich, a man is charged with reckless driving in Mount Washington after days of complaints from neighbors. Plus, the NFL draft is just 9 months away. But not everyone here is excited about that. And Ray's tracking another day with temps in the 90s. All coming up at 11, Rich.
All right, thanks a lot, Ken Pony. We have a tweet here from Ron who said, let's go deeper and look at the career record. He is awful when he's talking about Ben Cherington and his job in all aspects, and worse in all 4 major sports. With the buildup of pitching and a good GM would trade for hitters indefensible. I guess, do you think they're going to make a move early tomorrow, maybe before or after that final game in San Francisco?
Well, I think there's going to be trades. I think they got to get rid of Heaney, IKF, Tommy Pham, who's hitting over 400 since June. Caleb Ferguson, who's a left-hander in their bullpen, who's done a pretty good job. I think all those guys will move. I think Bednar and Keller will stay put. That's my prediction, Richie.
Yeah, I actually kind of agree with you on Bednar and Keller. I think they're going to wait until they see what they do with Ben Cherington. But we'll see. They got to move Tommy Pham. Finally, maybe they can get something for him. He's tearing it up in the last couple months. Backs on backers tomorrow,
Richie. Get in there with Caballi and knock him off.
I'm going to be in there. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you guys on KDK right now.